I'm just gonna start it off by saying I require happiness in my man. You need to be fulfilled. We're not getting together for me to make you happy. Absolutely. You need to be happy already, because I cannot deal with somebody that is constantly irritated, easily offended, on the defense. I believe that if not the majority, too many of us are really in relationships like that.
It's like let's not have problems that we can avoid.
You said
let's not have problems that we can avoid. Like
yeah.
if we are on a relationship, it's already
yes.
bunch of challenges that
yes.
we have to face.
Yes.
Into raising our kids.
I want my plants to be.
Yes. The plants be a vibe.
Okay.
Let me bring one just next to me. No,
okay,
for real. We have bunch of shit that we have
I'm
to
sorry,
take care of.
That plant is distracting me right now. Because why is it right here cutting off your neck? Right. Okay, that's good.
It's nice
perfect.
Like this.
That's
yes.
really good.
Why? We already have to deal about on many things. About kids that you guys raising together, about bills, many things, people from outside, the economy, the elections, everything. And now we got to deal with all the kind of emotions.
Yeah. Little shit.
Yeah.
We on the way to do a family gathering. You seen a text message that was really nothing, or because you feel like I shouldn't wear this, or because I can't. It's so amazing to me the way that we romanticize relationships. Even if it's a beautiful, healthy relationship, it's work. And it takes work to get there. Absolutely. So when we're looking at single women, like you're miserable, you're lonely because you're a single mom. A lot of y'all don't know how much
sometimes choose to be alone because to be around her kids, it's got to be a man that can handle the situation.
Exactly. Absolutely. You're not missing out on nothing if you already have the experience of being with another adult who's not able to be accountable, who's not able to check themselves and heal themselves, then you're creating a toxic environment for yourself and your children. The fact that when we're talking about being in a toxic relationship, a lot of us don't think that what we're dealing with, if you're a woman and you're crying all the time and you're feeling depressed and y'all are arguing all the time, 9 times out of 10, your children are experiencing that too. Whenever we hear about like women choosing their man over their kid, but we always think about that being a man that's not in the house. We don't think about that being your husband. But a lot of times we are choosing our toxic relationships. We're not choosing ourselves. We're not choosing the safety of our children or the peace of our children. We're married, so that's just what it is. Sometimes stuff is not really working. If you've done the counseling, if y'all have tried to get the help and you're just living comfortably in a toxic environment, that's also very toxic for children. Yeah. That's a broken home with 2 parents. The notion that because you're in a relationship, because y'all are married and y'all in the house together, it's a happy home. When I tell you this is such a false perception that people really believe, when the majority of domestic violence cases come from married couples, people who are committed in the home. It's not coming from people that live separately and they just doing the domestic violence in the hotel or at the Airbnb or if they over the other person's house. It's coming from 2-parent homes. This is why there is no this is better and this is worse. Oh, being single is worse or it's better.
It's when the stereotype comes. Whenever the stereotype is there, it's a problem. Now I think like the world biggest problem is to stereotype people, to put them in the box, to categorize them. It's happened with racism. It's happened with every single problem that you think about. It's a human being that think that he is better than another human being. When you categorize a human being or you put them on a box, you create a problem because it's not possible to. God did not create us to fit on a box. We are 2 different. It's not one human being on this earth that look exactly the same.
To assume that a single mom is a single mom because she was never married. To assume that if you get married, you'll never be a single mom. To assume that if you are married, you have a lot of money and you are successful and happy. These are real ideas and stereotypes that we have created and we really believe. We're judging people's experiences because we've had this thing of like, if you get with somebody, you have to be with them forever. Or if you do this, you should never do that. Or if you're a bad person if you do that. But the truth is that we have real contracts that we already made before we came here, and that's just supposed to be your experience.
It's the destiny. Destiny is not to get married and to have like a home like that. It is just not your destiny.
That's just this is what the path of the millions of lives that you're living, the infinite lives that you're experiencing. This is not, she should have chose better. Oh, you made a mistake. Now your kid doesn't have any parents. Or what about the women that are single moms because the father died? Could you imagine how they feel?
That's the point.
Could you imagine how they feel in a world, especially my country, that speaks so negatively on a single parent home?
But wait, why do you? Okay, that's the point that I want, because you are telling it to me, but I don't really see it as like okay. The perspective here is different.
Yes,
the perspective here is very different. Here, when we see a single mom, it is of course like there is no type of stereotype. There is no type of rejection.
Yeah,
but there may be rejection when it's like she did not have a husband before they have the guy. So if you are a married woman and then you get divorced or your husband died or whatever, you are totally like there is no type of things that. But when it's like someone that wasn't on the marriage and then have kids, and then it's like bunch of stereotype, a bunch of bad things that they're doing that not supposed to be.
Right.
But I feel like the perspective is different.
It's different because not only that, but you guys assume that the person was married first.
Yeah. First, when we see a woman that have a child, we be like, where is your husband? So then she gonna say that, oh, my husband died, or my
or I wasn't married, or whatever.
I wasn't married, or whatever.
Exactly.
And then if she come up with I wasn't married, then maybe even it's not really like no one do that.
No, in America, automatically, if you're a single mom at any point in your life, you had a one-night stand, you didn't know who the father was, or you.
That's what your story is.
We're coming right back.
That's the automatic assumption, because there's no way you can be a single mom if you were married. And the reason why I like speaking on this subject is honestly because when I was married is when I learned these stereotypes. It wasn't even when I became a single mom. It was before then. I learned it when I was going to school for psychology, and they were showing how many numbers of single moms there were that were actually married. And I noticed how much in my country, we don't think that that's a thing.
That's a thing.
Yeah. And then I noticed how when I wasn't with my husband at the time, people we were married still together, but I would take the kids off myself to the park or something like that. And people would just, I know it's hard sometimes. Oh, I know. Like, what? Like, all these stereotypes.
They do not even be like
but here it literally is. And not only here, but I would even say most of the world. Most of the world, if you think about how the construct is when it comes to marriage, when they see a mother with children, they automatically think that she was married and that they got a divorce, or that her husband went off to war, or that he died trying to go off and make money, or something like that. That's what the
main thing is. Your husband died, or your husband you divorce, or maybe why the divorce is not even coming up that much, because here when a divorce happen, most of the time it's the man that take the child. So it's
very different.
In America it's most of the time the woman, but here it's the man.
Here they actually take the child. You got how we see it, where there's this almost this favor given to women when it comes to them fighting for custody. And there's also the women who will use their child as a pawn and just offer some spiteful evil shit, take the child and not allow for the father to see the child. We know how common that is in America, but here it's the same exact thing for the same reasons, but in reverse.
It's here is the man that have that power. I was seeing a campaign lately that was talking about those kind of things, to say that in Senegal it's automatical that when the men have everything together, he is the one that have the child. It's no conversation about that. And they are
is someone fighting for it?
To really be like, let's talk about this, because the woman is very important. In the Senegalese man child, your mother is very important.
Well, you know that's the problem, because the reason why men are able to take their children is because their mother, who is very important, is the one raising the child.
Absolutely. So that's the situation. When the men have the child, sometimes he don't really be having the child.
Most of the time
they give it to the aunt. They give it to the uncle that have his,
the mom.
They take it to another family that is still on the same family.
Or they all live together anyway. There was a dude trying to talk to me a couple months ago, and since I know the dynamic here of that, I had met his twins. He has a set of twins that had to be no older than 3 years old. So this means that she gave birth to them about 3 years ago. And he was trying to talk to me, and I was like, "Where's the mom?" And he was like, "Oh, she cheated or something. It's like, so she can't see the kids."
No,
I said I would meet up with your baby mom and give her kids.
Absolutely,
you would actually be really.
That's what we were saying. Oh, it don't have to be the picture that you want to create and be like, this is the perfect one, because that's a lie. What you need is how the house feels. Even my kids are in the house, do they feel safe?
Yes.
Is it a safe environment where we discuss about things without making?
When you're a child and you're in the room by yourself or with your siblings, you're playing a game or something, and then all of a sudden you hear this yelling, you hear this movement, that is traumatic.
Yes.
That's traumatic. You were about to go in there and ask them, is y'all still going to the park? And they got to turn around at the door because y'all in here banging, or y'all in here yelling, or mama's in there screaming and crying. This is what's happening, the past life regressions, while we were experiencing that, because whatever you were judging and dismissing, that's what you have to experience again.
That's what you have to be
all the time. If you were the slave, you're going to be the slave owner. If you were abusive, you're going to be the person that was abused.
That's what the karma is.
Exactly. You're definitely going to come back and experience the other side of that. And sometimes it doesn't take for you to die and come back. Sometimes you experience it in your life.
If you have the chance to experience it in this life.
Because most people cannot go back and be like, damn, I was just judging this. Why am I saying this to this person? Why am I moving in this way? That inner dialogue is everything.
Absolutely. It's a self. It is a self. It is a self-healing. It is a self-work. It is a self. You will have to work on yourself. That's for
it's a self thing. It's an inner dialogue thing.
It's an inner dialogue. You have to talk to yourself. You have to know who you are. You have to make sure that your mind is right and you're not faking it.
You're not faking it. That's the thing.
That's so great.
What's your YouTube channel?
Elash Keba.
Okay, wait. Let's do it from here to here, same time. Okay. All right, you guys. Peace out.
Oh my God.
I see you in the moonlight dancing, yeah. Only need one chance, girl, right here. One night stand, please don't have fear.